Okay. All right, good morning. Can anybody hear me? You can give me well, or just a thumbs up. You can hear me? Anybody? Maybe? Let's try again. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. We'll stall for a minute here because it's not quite 9 o'clock. We're going to be doing Zoom every week, and I keep track of who's there. So if you go in the chat and you type your name in the chat, just so I know that you're there. So that way I have a record of you being here. And okay, hold on here. See if I can do it. Because then the chat is recorded. So just like that, type your name in. Thank you. Thank you. And I'll say it a bunch of times because people will show up later as we go. So I'm expecting 17 or 18 people. So we're just going to stall for a couple minutes. Okay, this is Biology 213, Human Anatomy and Physiology 1. Hopefully you're in lab, which has the CRN 6559, Tuesday mornings, scheduled for 8 a.m. Okay. All right. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So we're still kind of waiting here. Okay. All right. I hope everyone had a nice Christmas, good break, and is ready to go. First day is always kind of slow, feels sluggish. Okay. One thing while we are waiting, the bookstore is not open to in-person traffic, but you can order books online or by phone, and they can have curbside pickup or actually even delivery. So that's available. This is really dependent on getting your books. Gosh, what do my video thing? I've got the palm tree behind me. Let me turn that off. There, you can kind of see my little office. so I'm in my office. Okay. All right. Let's see. What do we got here? 8, 11, 12, 13. Hi, Caroline.
Hi.
Good morning. Okay. All right. So let's we might have to say things a couple times because it's first time people will show up. But again, I am kind of taking attendance. So type your name into the chat so that I know you were here. Okay, that's the record I have of you. I do record these, and so I have a recording that you were here, and anything you say is recorded. So be careful with what you say. Sometimes people miss meetings, and so then I can just post it online. But I won't do that if you say something that's can't be posted. Okay, so this is Biology 213, Human Anatomy and Physiology 1. We use the OpenStax textbook. That's it right there. Available at the bookstore. I think it's $51 or $52. Does that sound right? It's also available online. But it's really helpful to have it in person, to have the physical book. I mean, I write in it. I take notes in it. I'll do things in it and things like that. That's really, really helpful. The main thing we're going to do is go through a chapter a week. That each week we'll plow through about 45, 50 pages. It's difficult reading. You should take it in little chunks. It's otherwise sleep inducing. If you try and do big chunks, it'll sleep, and then if you take too much, it's paralysis. So you have to kind of take it easy. The other book is the lab manual right there. It's the custom published Highland Community College Human Anatomy and Physiology Lab Manual, available only at the Highland bookstore. Again, they're closed in person, but you can order online, and you can or you can order by phone. And they can do curbside pickup. They can also do delivery. I'm not sure how that works, but you can ask them. All right. You can interrupt me with questions. Can I introduce you, Caroline?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So so it's really nice for me to be able to see a student that's gone through and is moving on. And she's was a really, really good student, I think in fall of 2019, took human anatomy and physiology. And that was required, I think, for your major, was just human anatomy and physiology 1. She's a speech pathology major at ISU right now, and she's going to be our supplemental instructor. Okay, and so she's running study groups on Friday through Zoom, okay, where you'll do some practice work. You get a chance to talk to one another. She's a really great person to answer questions because she's taken the course before with me, knows kind of all the tricks and the things I like and stuff like that. I'm fairly consistent. And so we'll be doing that on Fridays. And that's worth points. And so she'll set up a Friday Zoom meeting. And I don't know if you've got a Highland Zoom account yet. Do you?
I don't know. I'm going to have to look. I'll ask Carolyn.
Okay. Otherwise, I can set it up and send the link, and that then will she'll be leading that, and we'll have it's only a half hour, and that will come each week on Friday. On Monday of each week, during the lecture time at 11, I'll have a half hour Zoom meeting where I'll lead some activities. And you can ask questions of me, but I know people are afraid to ask me questions because I give out the grade. And so sometimes it's easier to ask another student and one that's kind of had it before. And so that'll be a new thing for us as to doing it this formal way. Caroline's run study groups before, and it's done a really good job. It's really helped some students. This is the first time with a big group. Can you say a few things to them? I mean,
yeah, so I took the class before, and it is a lot of work, but it's definitely doable, and I'm happy to help anyone. And if you want to email me, you're welcome to. I have a Highland email, so it's just my name, caroline.jeffrey@highland.edu, and then I'm happy to help outside of that group too if you want, or to email me with questions, or even set up a personal meeting once in a while too.
Okay, and that'll be through Zoom. Okay, all right. And so I should say this is a hard course, and I apologize for it often during the semester. It's hard. It takes a lot of work. You take anatomy and physiology 1 to get ready for nursing, allied health professions, and some pre-professional programs like speech pathology. It's the foundation for further study, usually in healthcare. And so we're learning tons and tons of new terminology. We're learning how the human body works. We're learning kind of what goes wrong, how to fix it, or why we can't fix it sometimes. And so this takes lots and lots of work. I'm sure Caroline will say the same thing. I'm not a genius. It's just I've been studying this year after year after year, and it's for you guys. You will get it. It just takes work, and you know, I'm always amazed when some of my students from nursing come back and talk to me. It's like I have to tell them, slow down. I don't I don't do that every day. So you'll have to explain to me what you're saying. Um, it's repetition. With learning and memorization, repetition is what matters. And so the more time you spend with the textbook, with the lab manual, with these things, asking me questions or asking Carolyn questions, the better it will go. The easier it will seem. It's say the words, write the words, do those kinds of things. That's really important. It's a hard course. It's lots of memorization. Every week, there's probably 50 to 100 new words. Okay. All right. So normally, we're going to do almost everything online. There'll be one chapter in the textbook for you to read each week. There'll be usually one lab exercise for us to read each week. Sometimes there'll be things that you have to do a little experiment at home. You will have to come in and pick up materials occasionally. So there will be some things that you'll have to dissect. And so you'll do that at home. Um, it's actually pretty easy to do at home. We're not going to give you a whole human cadaver. We'll give you a little organ, a little sheep brain, or the eye of a cow, or something like that you'll take home, and I'll give you some little scissors and forceps, and you'll be able to dissect that at home. Other times it'll be look at slides online, look at things online, and then pen and paperwork. There's always pen and paperwork at the end of the chapter here. Let me share a screen here, and hopefully you may have seen some of this before, maybe not. Okay. So do you see the line of policies and grading on the screen? Okay. So I think I can probably make it bigger. Okay, so this is, it's available in the top box of the Moodle page. And it has kind of our materials there, our times when we're going to meet, things like that. But really what I want to look at is the graded work first. Okay, so every week there's a reading assignment. Each week it's one chapter. That's about 40 to 50 pages in the textbook. That's probably 2 or 3 hours if you're going to read and study it, because it's not like reading a newspaper article or a magazine. It's dense reading. It's not meant to be entertaining, and it certainly doesn't succeed at that at any level. It's meant to be studied. There are also on Moodle, there will be pre-recorded lectures. Sometimes that lecture material might be an animation. Sometimes it might be a movie clip. Usually there'll be more than one because I'll make them short. So I know that if I make them long, people don't like that. So they'll always be under 15 minutes, usually under 10 minutes. And so there'll be stuff for you to view there. Then if you've done the reading assignment and the lecture assignment, there's a chapter quiz. Okay, and so these are linked to the chapters. The lectures will highlight important topics in the chapter, but not cover everything in the chapter. The quiz covers more of the chapter. You can complete, that's on Moodle, and you'll take that and it'll say chapter 1 quiz or chapter 2 quiz. You can take that repeatedly. Okay, if you don't, it's just 10 questions. Usually they're multiple choice or true, false. If you don't get them all right, it'll give you a score. It won't tell you which is correct or not, but you can retake it. And so you should get a 9 or 10 each week on that. We'll also have lab quizzes online. These will pertain to materials that we've looked at the previous week. Those are, again, on Moodle. They're short. They usually include a diagram. So it's usually labeling a diagram on Moodle. There will be 1 or 2 questions. Always there's a little essay question in there where you have to write a couple sentences. Also for the lab, there will be some assignments each week. Usually you'll take a picture of the review from the lab, the end of the exercise, you'll take a picture of the page and you'll submit it on Moodle. Okay, and for me to read it, it has to be as either a JPEG file, so your camera, you can set your camera file as JPEG, or if you dump it into a PDF document or a Word document that's docx, then I can read it. So that assignment, that will be on Moodle. I'll show you that in a minute. Then you're going to get graded for Zoom meetings. So your Zoom meeting, if you participate in the Zoom meeting, that means answer questions, show up there, put your name in the chat, you'll get some points. Okay. Okay. Then every 3 to 4 weeks, we're going to have a test, a longer test on Moodle that will cover 3 to 4 chapters. And usually those are worth many more points, like 100 points, and they have a time limit, and you only get 1 crack at those. Okay, and the final exam will be similar. Okay, does anybody have any questions? I should have the chat going, so I can see if you have chat questions on the chat. I don't know if I can do that. Okay, well let's go down then. Okay, then there's the grading thing. Okay, so each week we accumulate some points in the Zoom meetings, in the Moodle quizzes, on the chapters, on the lab quizzes, and on the assignments. And then we have big exams. We have 3 big exams for 100 points each. Final exam, the lab exams are worth less. There's also assignments in the lab. If you get 90% of the total possible points or more, you'll get an A. 80 to 89% is a B, 68 to 79% is a C, so on and so forth. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, let me see in the chat. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. So all the Moodle stuff is done at home. So all the quizzes are going to be home quizzes, all the assignments. You'll do that stuff at home. At this point, all the exams will be done at home as well. And so you'll take the exams at home. If things get better, if everybody gets vaccinated and somehow there's this miracle and COVID goes way down, we will start doing in-person stuff. The first thing we will do is in-person lab, and we'll see how that goes. And the lab will be limited to 10 people in lab. Of course, the lecture portions of the course has more people because there's 2 sections. So there's, I think, total like 36 people. There's with the physical spacing, I can't get us all in a room. And so things would have to be really good for us to, because for us to all get in a room together, we would have to be not needing to do social distancing anymore. Okay.
So all of the labs are gonna be, we just pick something up and then bring it home. Nothing's in person.
At this point, yes.
Okay.
Because we're not at the point where I can have people in a room for that long. When you do pick it up, you'll have to wear a mask. We'll still come in socially distance. If things get better, the state says no matter what, we have to wear a mask until June, I think. And the vaccination is going very slow right now. And so it doesn't, when I put down the course, I put hybrid lab. The hope was that we would be in person, and I don't think it's going to happen. COVID is lower now, but it's not gone. It's still pretty widespread. I mean, right now, the big surge is in the South in California, but it could swing back through here. And so I'm sorry. This is, I like people. I've been a teacher for decades. And so this sucks. This just sucks. This is not the best way to learn, but it's what we got to do. And we need we need nurses and speech pathologists and physical therapists now more than ever. And so we've got to get you guys through, do the best we can. And so that's what it is. You know, once you're in the nursing program, no matter what, you're going to be working on people. You're going to be there in person. But for us, it's just not worth it yet.
Right.
So yada yada. Okay. Okay. Let's see if I can share another screen. Miata Papa. No, I can't. Okay, hold on here. See Highland Community College Moodle. Anybody? Yes? Okay. This is our Moodle page. Okay. Log into it as soon as possible. Okay. There's a that policy and grading thing is there. There's a schedule of lectures. I'll tell you right now what it says. Each week we do a new chapter. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're just going like that. There's our COVID statement. That's kind of there. Then for each week, we're going to have, you know, be a list of topics. And so like for week 1, there's a study guide that has a list of vocabulary words. There's a quiz associated with chapter 1. Then there's a bunch of little PowerPoints, narrated PowerPoints. So here's 1, 2, 3 of those. Okay, there will always be a quiz associated with this stuff, and then there'll always be a forum. This week, you just have to introduce yourself. You write 2 paragraphs. You know, my name is Alan. I've been teaching anatomy and physiology since the previous millennium. You know, I came from this high school. I live in this town. You know, I have a job. I'm doing this, doing that. Okay. Lots of times there will be a movie. So for lab this week, there's a movie, Homeostasis. It's 20 minutes long. It's a very good movie on homeostasis, one of the major topics in chapter 1. And then there's usually an assignment. And so for this week, let's see, the lab assignment is from the exercise 1 review. You're going to take a photo. You'll complete page 21 in exercise 1. Your name should be written in ink on the photo at the top of the page. The photo you'll send me will be a JPEG or a PDF or a Word document. That's DocX is Word. Okay. Submit a photo here. Okay, and so that's what you'll do. Okay, so each week one of these boxes will show up. Okay, and you're just going to work your way through this. Okay. The Zoom meetings, of course, that'll be during our regular time. We're not going to Zoom during the whole time that we're scheduled to meet. We'll Zoom like a half hour at a crack. Okay, that's it. This stuff you can do at any time, but you have to do it each week. So this quiz is due each week. After the end of the week, it closes. And so, shunk, it's closed, it's done. If you haven't taken it, you'll got a 0. So plow through it once. It goes fast. You can, you know, try these. Okay. This quiz, this you can take as many times as you want. So you can just go through it, take it quick once, then go to the book, work on it again, look up things as you go, do that with your textbook. These are 10 or 15 minutes at a crack. This, some of these you'll have to spend 10, 15 minutes looking at something and then write a little bit, but stuff has to be done each week. So, okay. Any questions? I should look at the chat again. If you don't want to speak up, you can write it in the chat. Okay.
I do have one question.
Sure.
So like if we're in the middle of an exam and I live in the country and the internet goes out, what happens?
Then you get all panicked and you send me emails, and then we figure it out when I read the email. Okay.
Okay.
if that's a consistent problem that your email cuts, or that you're that you're cutting out, the exams are not, they're usually open for 24 hours. So you don't have to take them in a 1 hour period. So you'll just have to get to some place where there's good Wi-Fi. So,
Perfect.
so hopefully not. I don't want to say I'm lenient. I don't never want to say that, but I'm interested in solving problems. Okay, that's my goal, is to solve problems. If we have a problem, we'll fix it. And it might be that I can fix it, but it might be that you have to just go somewhere when there's an exam. That exam, I can't let you have like 3 cracks at it. But if that happens once, then we'll say, come to Highland. We have this room. We can put you in a room, and you can take the exam there. It won't be proctored. It'll just be that you've got a room with good Wi-Fi. There's good Wi-Fi at various locations in places. We have oh gosh, I'll put a link on the front page. There's the Highland people have like a list of places where you can go for good free Wi-Fi.
Okay, thank you.
So maybe, hopefully, and I've had people really worried about this, but it hasn't been a problem too much. I've had it only with once or twice. So even if, like at my house, my Wi-Fi will give me little notices like intermittent, but it still works with my Moodle exams, so that when I take it, it doesn't kick me off. So we'll see.
All right, thank you.
Sure. Am I forgetting anything? Caroline, do you have anything that you want to add that I forgot?
I don't think so. I think you got it.
Yeah, it's okay to ask questions, and if I'm talking in Zoom and I'm, you don't have to raise your hand, just blurt it out or type it in to the chat. Okay. So
I have
again,
a quick question.
go ahead.
Is there a certain browser that we need to take the quizzes and stuff on? Or am I able to use like Safari, or should it be like Google?
Okay. So Moodle works best with the Microsoft products, I think, is what they say to me. I have Safari at home, and so I use Safari, and so I'm able to take stuff with Safari. Occasionally, I have problems uploading my stuff. So when I'm uploading, putting big files on with Safari, I sometimes have a problem. Okay, in that case, then I email it to my Highland work email account, which would be your student account, and then from there I put it in using that. But it mostly works with Safari. I don't know about some of the other browsers. People are submitting with Google, with the Android system and stuff, so I'm hopeful it's okay. Again, Highland has the technical. I'm not a computer person. I mean, you'll see that over the course of the semester. I can barely, get YouTube to work, but I know people who are good at it. And so if you have a problem, let me know. I won't be able to solve it, but I know people are good at stuff like that. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So I should say I'm not in my office as much anymore. My contact information is in that policy and grading thing. But probably the best way to get to me now is through email. And I don't check my email on weekends unless I know there's an exam. Then I'm pretty good about checking my email. And I usually check it maybe twice a day. On Mondays, I'm always overwhelmed with emails. So then I'm slower at getting to things. But email is the way to go now. What else? Okay. All right. So that's going to be it. Make sure you've typed your name into the chat. Okay, so that I know I have a record that you were here. I'm going to post this onto Moodle. It'll just say Zoom this day. And you don't have to look at it again, but for people that didn't show up, they can then go and hear all that information. Okay.
There's a couple questions in the chat. Someone
Okay.
asked.
Let me go through those. Did I miss some? There, I've got people's names. Okay, so 9:30, that's okay. Take exams at home. Am I doing something wrong? Okay, so something's wrong with the introduction forum. I'll figure it out. I'll go and work on it right now. Sometimes they have a specified time, and if it's too early, it won't let you work. Let me see what I can do. The Monday and Friday Zooms, you're going to get an email that will have a link. I will set up, depending on what lecture you're in, it'll be 9 or 9:30 for the Zoom meetings. Okay, and they're half hour. If I assign you to a 9:30 and you can't do that, you need the 9 o'clock one, then send me an email and I'll flip it around. Caroline, you're going to do, or not 9 or it'll be 11 or 11:30. I'm sorry. And Caroline will do the same thing. She'll have 11 or 11:30 for Friday. And if you can't make the one she assigns you to, then send her an email and she can probably switch you into a different one. Okay.
That means on Tuesdays when our actual lab is, do we have another Zoom or do we just go on Moodle and start working?
Go to Moodle and start working. Sometimes there'll be a Zoom. Sometimes, yeah, that's that. For the Monday and Friday, there'll be a recurring Zoom link. Okay, and so you'll get that link, and then you'll just use the same link over and over again. Okay, for Zooms for lab, those would be more things that I probably wouldn't do every week, and so it would be a special one that we need that. Sometimes when there's a dissection, I'll record myself doing dissection and I'll put it on there, or I might do it live and see. But generally, if things go bad, I'd like to record it and then do another one, and then you'll think I'm better at it than I am. Okay. All right.
Okay, and there's nothing on Wednesday, just Monday and Friday for the Zooms?
Just Monday and Friday for the Zooms. So that we'll do that. So that that doesn't mean no anatomy and physiology. It's do it at your own pace, at your own time. Okay. Okay. This is repetition, repetition, repetition. Caroline, how much did you study?
Looking back, I'm not totally sure about hours, but I definitely read all the chapters and reviewed my notes, and probably a few hours a week. I'm not sure about how much, but
it's a lot. It's repetition is what does it. And that's the disadvantage of doing all this online, is you're kind of by yourself. And I remember when you were taking it, you worked a lot with Barbara, and there was, she had her lab partner. I think they worked pretty well together, and so there was a lot of, it wasn't all anatomy and physiology. There was other talk, but it was a lot of, did you look at this? How was this? And I know you guys studied together, and I think you did flashcards and things like that. I think Barbara had that. So, okay. All right. Okay. So then if you've got your name in the chat, I'm good. We're ready to go. Get to Moodle, look in Moodle. Remember, you've got 3 or 4 things to do this week. So you've got a chapter quiz. You've got to introduce yourself once I get that figured out, and make sure that you could put your file in there. And you've got a movie to watch, and some little PowerPoint lectures to watch as well. So there's a lot to do in chapter 1 to read. Okay. All right. Don't be afraid to ask questions, to send me an email. I'll see you later. We'll get to know one another. It can be fun. So, okay. Bye-bye.